This is the muscle YouTube for labs for Dr. Mason's class. I'm going to just point out on the various models that we have, the various sizes, the main muscles I have on my list. So get out your muscle lab parts to know form, 2 pages, and at the end, if we have time, we'll also go over some of the actions and insertions. So we'll also get out this chart for the origins, insertions, and actions. We'll see how it goes. All right, so let's start with this medium man here. Again, just IDing the muscles to begin with. So if we start with the head, we do have the frontal muscle. I don't think that's on your list. And the temporalis muscle. Of course, they go with the areas of the head. But the main ones we covered on the head are this masseter muscle, chewing muscle, the orbicularis oculi muscle, the orbicularis oris muscle, the digastric muscle, which we have to look way under the chin here to see the 2 bellies of that. Now this is the hyoid bone, and we know it connects to the hyoid bone. So this would be the anterior belly going to the mandible, and this would be the posterior belly going to the mastoid process behind the ear, digastric. Then we come to the neck muscles, and what we have here is the sternocleidomastoid muscle going from the sternum up to the mastoid process again. The platysma we can't see. It covers all these neck muscles. Lots of neck muscles, some of them connected to the hyoid, some of them connected to the skull there. All right, then we move to the chest. We have the main ones being the pectoralis major. There is a pectoralis minor. If we took that off, this would be the pectoralis minor. The other chest muscle is the serratus anteriors. Now they're a little bit lower. Call them your boxing muscles right here. And they're serrated, look like the edge of a serrated knife. Serratus anterior, because there's also a posterior set. Over here you can see them nicely, right here. Then we move to the abdominal muscles from the front, and we have the external obliques, and they're running at an angle here. Then we have, of course, the rectus abdominis going straight up the abdomen. All right, we'll turn this guy in the back. In the back, we have trapezius here. It's half a diamond. They cut away the other half so you could see some of the deeper muscles. Trapezius. The other big one in the back is the Latissimus Dorsi. It's going to be this big back muscle right here. Broad here, tapering off to insert on the arm. Latissimus Dorsi. And then we have the erector spinae muscles, which go straight up, erect the spine. Right there, erector spinae. Shoulder and arm muscles. Of course, we have the deltoid, shaped like a triangle, shoulder pad. Then on the anterior, the upper arm, we have the biceps. Posterior, we have the triceps here. Right in there, both of those. It's got 3 heads. Now the biceps will flex your arm and bend it. And these anterior muscles of the arm are also called flexors. And then the posterior of the arm, since the triceps extends your arm when it contracts, then these are extensors on the posterior part of the lower arm. The buttocks muscles, we do have Gluteus Maximus here. in here. There is a Gluteus Medius. I think if I can get that off. Yeah. So the Gluteus Medius is under that, all those. And if we take them off, we even have a Gluteus Minimus. The leg, and the anterior. We have the quadriceps, which is 4 muscles. 1, 2, 3, and there's one under here. So that would be the Rectus Femoris, straight up the femur here. It's one of the quads. Since this is lateral, it's the vastus lateralis, and this is the vastus medialis. Like I said, we'd have to take this off to see the rectus intermedius. Or maybe I'll do that on another model. I'm not going to do it here because it'll knock off this muscle, which you should remember is the Sartorius muscle, the strap muscle going from the hip down to the medial of the knee, Sartorius. Then, let me turn my sheet to make sure I'm not missing anything. The Gracilis groin muscle, right in here. Right along the groin. Way in here. Okay. Tensor fasciae latte would be this little muscle here. Now, not very long, but this is actually a long piece of fascia, kind of like a long tendon. And that's actually called the fascia latte, and that's the tensor, because it pulls on that, makes it tense. Tensor fasciae latte. Don't order one of them at Starbucks. I don't know what you'll get. A latte full of ground up muscle, maybe, I don't know. Then we got the hamstrings on the back. Now there's 2 hamstrings, actually there's 3, I only mentioned 2 of them. But here they would be, now we have the biceps femoris and the semitendinosus. Now, I mentioned in the lab study slides, the narrated version, and on your sheet, that the semitendinosus, the M in semitendinosus, reminds me that that's medial, right there. So that makes the biceps femoris the more lateral one, right here. Okay? And then, on the back of the lower leg, we'll start with number 2 there since we're on the back. We have the calf muscle, 2 heads there. It's called the gastrocnemius, here and here. And that's connected to the longest tendon in your body, the Achilles tendon, right there. Now under that, deep to it, we have the soleus. Now you can kind of see the soleus around the gastroc. It's deeper, right there. And if we took this part of this gastroc off, it's always dangerous with these models, there would be the soleus under the gastroc. Then we have to turn on the front to see the main muscle of the anterior lower leg, the anterior tibialis there. It's right on the bone, right on the tibia. You know, that's the tibia and not the fibula, because remember the fibula is lateral. And all of these, lots of muscles going to the feet. These would be extensors this time on the anterior, and the flexors of the lower leg, if you took off the gastroc, would be under that. All right, then we go to the breathing muscles. And these are called the intercostals. Now we have 2 sets. We have the external intercostals, which are external, make an angle downwards towards the medial, and then the internal intercostals are deep to that. It was the same with the external obliques. The external obliques run at an angle down towards the medial, but under them are the internal obliques going the opposite. So here they cut away the external oblique, and you can see the internal oblique going the opposite way. Just like here, again, We have the external intercostals, and then the internal. Go by the depth. And lastly, we have the diaphragm. I guess we're finished with this. We can take it off now. The diaphragm muscle here, right beneath the lungs, going all the way across the body horizontally. The diaphragm muscle. And all those help us with breathing. So let's look at a couple other models as we go over here. This head model, let's see what we can see on that. Well, we can see the Sternocleidomastoid. We can see the masseter here. Temporalis, frontal, Orbicularis oculi, Orbicularis oris. See if we can see that digastric under here. Oh yeah, we can see it. There's the one belly going to the hyoid, and then the posterior belly going back. If you turn this to the back, this is actually part of the trapezius, the upper part. These are scalene muscles, they're not on the list. A lot of muscles in the neck and all over the body. Remember, we got 650 muscles. We're only covering about 35. All right, here's the guy, small model. But I like this one because it shows the trapezius real nice. They didn't cut any of it away. So you can see the nice diamond shape, which is what a trapezoid is. Diamond is a trapezoid, the trapezius. And we can see the Latissimus Dorsi real nice here on each side. We'll stay on the back, okay? Gluteus Maximus. Hamstrings here, which is which? Or semi-tendinosus here. Medial. Biceps femoris here. Gastrocs. Achilles tendon. Soleus around the calf. Triceps muscle here. Deltoid. On the anterior, quadriceps, rectus femoris, vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, anterior tibialis, Sartorius, Gracilis, rectus abdominis, external obliques, Serratus Anterior, pectoralis major, deltoid again, biceps, Sternocleidomastoid, masseter, temporalis frontalis. You know, the orbicularis oculi and orbicularis oris. We didn't mention the Zygomaticus Major. Oops. Okay, that's it. From the zygomatic bone to the corner mouth, smiling muscle, Zygomaticus Major. So now I got to go back here and show you that one, because you want to be smiling. Zygomaticus Major. Zygomatic bone to the corner of the mouth. Here, see on this guy. There he is. Zygomaticus Major. Smiling muscle. Orbicularis oris, kissing muscle. Orbicularis oculi, winking muscle. Masseter, chewing muscle. Digastric, swallowing muscle. Sternocleidomastoid, turning your head muscle. Sartorius, soccer kick muscle. Serratus Anterior, boxing muscle. We can give names to all of them if we want to. Now let's take a look at just an arm for a minute. Deltoid. Biceps. Remember? Anterior is the anterior of the hand, the way it's turned. See all these other muscles in the forearm? Flexors that bend your hand, just like the biceps bends your forearm. On this side, it's the posterior, because remember, and anatomical position. Posterior, triceps, deltoid. And here would be extensors, because when they contract, they're going to extend your hand and your fingers. Some of these we didn't cover, but some of these here, called Teres Major and scapular muscles. And here we have some more scapular muscles. Those are your rotator cuff muscles. A lot of muscles in the hand. A lot of these forearm muscles have really long tendons. Remember, tendon, muscle to bone. And some of these forearm muscles have long tendons that move your fingers. If we just look at a leg model, here, maybe this will be the one I take off, the Rectus femoris. It's hard to keep these leg muscles straight, but that's the quad, Rectus femoris. Let's see if it's under that, okay? Okay, so there's your Rectus intermedius under that. Vastus lateralis, vastus medialis. You always take a risk taking these apart. Sartorius. Tensor fasciae latte.